So welcome back, friends, to another very snowy day on the homestead. We woke up to another 6 inches. Well, you can see behind me my truck. It is just unbelievable this year after all my whinging about global warming and all of that. So today we're going to be in the wood shop. We're going to make something very special. This would be kind of a mini series here. It's going to be building, hopefully, if I have the right piece, a live edge Douglas fir shelf with a forged bracket from the Whitlock's Forge. And I also have an upgrade to the forge that I'll share with you that I think is going to make things a lot better. Give me the ability to make the steel hotter and to burn less wood. So that will be coming up maybe next part. So let's go down and pick out a very special piece of wood for a very special lady. This here is one of two stacks that came from those big 150-year-old Dougs that we took down last year in the White House video series that was up at my friend Don and Eric's home. And they've been sitting here cribbed up, and I'm kind of curious to see how dry they are. This isn't super critical with this because we don't have joinery involved where it's going to really mess things up if we do joinery or try to put everything together with frozen. I'm thinking about my frozen jaw with wet wood. Being it's just going to be kind of floating on top of the forged brackets. It's not a big deal if it does shrink a little bit. It'll just actually give it some character. So just for fun, I'll show you how to real quickly take moisture levels and then we'll pick out a special piece. My goodness, it is cold out here today. Okay, so it warms the heart to have all these beautiful stacks of this local wood, the Doug fir wood. I think about all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it, how hard it is to harvest, and the risk and the danger from the falling, and having it all sitting up here in the barn. I mean, and you think of the possibilities, so what you can do is just limitless. It's a wonderful feeling to work with something and to build something that's beautiful when you have seen the tree through the whole process, from the felling to the milling to the cribbing to the storing and to finally the finishing. Okay, so we can thank our friend Ken here, a friend of the channel. Ken has sent me this meter for testing moistures. Now, back in the old school days, you would take some chunks of it, right, and you would put it in the oven and you would cook it. Then you would weigh the wet chunks versus the dry chunks, and you still can do that today, but it's a whole lot easier with this. So what these are is just it's just a little meter, and it's got two prongs on it, and that's going to give you how much moisture is, or kind of checking humidity some way between these 2 points. So they come with short spikes and long spikes. So if you have hardwood, you use the short ones, and if you have softwood, you use the longer ones, so you can go in deeper. But we can put this in here and then see what we have. So we can see here on this 4x6, just the first sample, we've got 19%. That's pretty high. That's pretty wet. So that's even a little wetter than I'd like to have for firewood. But again, because of the way we're constructing it, and we'll make sure that we leave plenty of give it plenty of room that it can move in the design, it should be fine. So let's check a couple others and see if we have kind of get a baseline going. And for all I know, things could get worse here with our percentages. You want to check on different sides. That is the south side over there. That's going to get all the sun. A little bit of sun's going to come in and dry that a little bit more. So we'll go over here on the north face side and see what we get here. %. And if we just check one more over here, maybe one on the bottom of the pile. 18%. So that's probably a pretty good sample of what we could expect. 18, 19%. So I can live with that. So let's pick out the perfect piece. I think I may have found the perfect piece. It's really pretty. It's not too deep in the pile. We'll have to see how many defects it has, but it looks really pretty. There it is. This one right here is what I've got my eyes on. It's a 2x8 rough cut, full dimension, so it's a little thicker. This is the one that we milled. It's pretty straight. It's got some really pretty color variations in here. Let's take a closer look. This here is one of my favorite anomalies with fir, when you see that white and that red combined together. You don't see it very often in them, every once in a while, but this particular tree had a lot of that. It really is pretty. You can see all of the saw marks in there from the Lucas mark, or the Lucas mill. It's a little thicker than your normal 2x, so you won't be mistaken for just regular framing material. You can see that it is something a little bit special. But I don't see a whole lot of defect in that. I think that could be about the perfect piece right there. Let's see what our moisture content is on this piece. So we're 19, pretty much all the way across the board. All right, this is always one of the funnest parts, to pick out the piece and kind of imagine what it's going to look like. And we're going to get the hand plane fired up here. We're going to be getting warmed up very soon indeed. So I'm going to attempt to, everything in this whole project is going to be the traditional tools. So we'll finish everything by hand. We'll do all of the forging, everything by hand. Hopefully no drill or welding this time. And then we'll see how it turns out. But the thing about it with wood and with steel as well is these things are always very forgiving. So don't be intimidated to get into these projects. And if you mess something up, you cut boards too short, well, sometimes you just have to reassess your plans and say, well, okay, now it's going to be 2 inches shorter. So just kind of go with it and save your frustration. But I think this is going to be pretty. So let's pull this up here and see. We need to cut 32 inches out of this full dimension 2x8. So we want something that's going to be really nice. The other nice, I guess, thing about this particular board is it's long enough we could get mini shelves out of it. That way they'd all match. It'd have the same grain pattern and structure. But that is pretty. Okay, so let's lay this out and let's pick out the cream of the board. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so our tape measure is about a 6-footer, it looks like. So we've got these cracks checking on the edge. We want to stay away from that. If you want to prevent this, if you're storing wood, you can coat this with a heavy, any sort of a paint or a wax, even make a sealing wax, and it'll slow the drying process of the wood because the wood dries from the ends, not from the middle. So that's why it dries and separates. So we want to be away from that because those will continue on. So we'll burn 6 inches or so, and then we'll look across here. So what I'm going to do is we'll break this up into, looks like we have 4 categories, get 3 different pieces out of here. Overall, we're about 6'12". This is about 12.5 feet board. So starting from this end, we'll go left to right. I'm going to let you guys choose. I'm going to put a poll up. Which section should we use right here? So we need 32 inches right there. So section number 1, we're going to put a mark right here, right? There's 1. You can have a look at it. This is what we have to deal with. So we have a couple of knots in there. And I don't have any problem with those as long as the knots are tight. we don't want knots that are going to fall out and give us problems right there. So this is piece number 1. This will be the selection on the poll, and whoever chooses, we'll let you guys choose. Whoever votes the most, that's the piece that I'll choose. Number 2, we'll call that right here. We'll come to this. Number 2, we have from here to here. So we're well inside. We could stay inside that knot right there, and that's pretty. We've got, of course, we've got the saw marks on that grain. This here could be good, could be bad. It does look tight, so I don't see any problems there. Would show character. So this is number 2 right there. So if you like this piece, you choose that. And then finally, we'll go the other side of this knot. We're going to get 4, maybe 4 selections out right here. This will be piece number 3 right here, and we have all the way over to 32, which is right here. So we have a nice clean piece. What's going on right there? I thought that was a crack, but I think it's just a saw mark. It might be a little bit, but it's not all the way through. We do have this knot, which is also a nice tight knot, and lots of pretty color in the middle right there. So that will be piece number, we'll call this 3 right there. And then finally, well, probably the most interesting, we go all the way to, let's say right here. This will be piece number 4. We've got that black going on in there. Now this was a dying tree. That could be something from a beetle or a bug, but it's very interesting, and it's a nice contrast with the 3 colors there, I think. So this will be choice number 4, and that goes all the way to here. So that is actually really a nice piece too. Number 4. So you can make your selections, which one you like, and whoever gets the most upvotes, that will be the piece that we use. I'm afraid that's probably all the time we have for today. And I have, you know what? I took my own advice last video or so. I was talking about Mrs. W wanting me to do or asking me to do things, and that was a way of showing it for asking for attention. We talked about that. And so I was thinking about that when I was editing the video, and there was several other things that had come up that Mrs. W has been asking me about, or just mentioning for years, that I have not gotten to. And well, I turn over a new leaf, and I am just finishing up building her dream laundry room. So she's bless her, she's been down in the in a crummy laundry room with wasn't very, it was hard to keep clean, and didn't have shelving and stuff for way too long. So that's why I was hoping to do this all in 2 videos, one side for the wood and the other side over for the forging. But this is all the time I have today for this today. I've got to go back there and finish that up. So I'll show you when we get that all done. But we got our new washer and dryer, and the old ones we had, it was keeping me busy just trying to keep them running. It seemed like every month or so something would break down, or a water pump, and I'd have to find parts and replace it. So we've had them for a long time, and I think we bought them secondhand anyway. So I got her a new pair that will be a lot easier for her to use. So that's what I'm working on the rest of the day. So tomorrow we'll build the shelf. I think you're gonna like it. So I appreciate all of the actually, I wanted to share something with you guys today. There's 2 channels that I subscribe to, and one of them is a friend of mine that are just about ready to reach big milestones. And I remember when Nut and Fancy helped me years ago, gave me a big break when I was doing the Wranglerstar channel, and I'll always be grateful for that. And I remember what a thrill it was. But I wanted to just get a picture right here. So first off is my friend Stanley, the Dirt Monkey. He is just about ready to turn over 300,000 subscribers. Mrs. W and I met Stanley when we were down at a DeWalt event we went to, and got to become friends with him. And his channel is really fun. If you like heavy equipment and really interesting, bizarre machinery, he does a lot of interesting stuff like that. So go on over there. I'll put a link at the end of this video, as well as in the subject, to his channel, and subscribe. Tell him I said hi, and congratulate him. I think we can really easily and quickly push him over that 300,000. The second is a new channel to me. It's Bumblebee Junction contacted me. They are a veteran-owned channel, and they have a wonderful homesteading channel, and they're just ready to go over 10,000. So if we could go over there and help them just push that last little edge, that's a big milestone, and congratulations to you two for all of your great videos that I've been enjoying very much. So thanks for watching. We'll see you over on the next part. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, and we'll see you on the next video.